Hi, friends. Happy Thursday. My name's Jana. Thank you for stopping by my channel today. Um, I have a fun project featuring this bundle from Stampin' Up! Today. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And so we're not doing a card today. We're doing something a little different. So for those of you who like to create journals, junk journals, art journals, maybe even this project would be really fun for a little Happy Mail tuck in. Then this video is going to be right up your alley. Okay, let's see here. So I am just giving it a second here for everything to be live and know that I am on here. Okay, there we go. All right, so the bundle that I'm using today is Wildflower Designs. So it is a stamp and die set. It comes with these really pretty dies here that you can create a big label with, a centerpiece for the focus of your card or whatever. And then you can also die cut out the flowers. Oh, that reminds me, if you happen to watch my recent haul video of new Stampin' Up! Products that are going to be coming out with the new mini catalog, I want to correct something. I showed the Reindeer Fun stamp and die set. It's just absolutely adorable. It is a photopolymer stamp set. And then the dies, and I showed you these dies, which none of these dies cut anything out with this stamp set. And I said, so this is just a standalone die set. Well, that's not true. And I didn't realize this at all when I showed the dies. I even pulled them out of the package. But what I didn't realize is that, guess what? There's not just one sheet of dies. There are two sheets. I didn't even show you this sheet. I didn't realize it was even in the dies. So this one layers all together to create this adorable deer. And then there's all these other dies in here. Jingle bells, holly. This is the ribbon for the packages. Some cute lights. And then you get all of these dies, which do cut out the images here. I felt so silly when I found this out. It cuts out the tree. It cuts out the jingle bells. You get an extra little wreath here, and this fun image here that cuts these pine boughs into a circle that you can create a window on your card. So yeah, you get lots of dies in this set. So yeah, I felt so silly when I realized that I totally didn't know that there were two sheets of dies in this die set. So that makes it all the better. Plus you get the, well, you don't get, but you can order the cute paper. I'm going to grab it here. So there is the reindeer days paper that goes along with this. And so those dies will actually cut out some of the images that are in the paper, and the paper is just adorable. So yeah, and there's what that little deer looks like when you layer all the pieces together and put it together. So, oh, what a big faux pas that was. All right, so I just wanted to make sure that you knew that. because that stamp set is so cute, and having dies that cut out those deer just make it all the better. So I'm glad I realized that ahead of time than when I went to actually go use that set. All right, so let me bring this up here on my iPad. For whatever reason, it's not letting me I always have such trouble with this. It's not letting me click on the video, so it says I'm live on the screen. So I hope I am, because if I can't see it, I don't know if people are out there. There we go. Now I can see it. All right. Yay. Okay. So back to what we're doing here today. I'm going to use this flower. I know I made a card with this set before, and I used that flower. I really love it. I have some samples with that aren't just this flower to show you at the end. I'm also going to use this Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper, which is on sale right now. So you get a ton of paper in this pack. It's really beautiful. So it's all very watercolor looking. So even if you don't like the designs that are on the front, you get these beautiful watercolor patterns on the back that you can use. So I've already pulled the piece that I want to use today, and it's this one right here. And then I'm going to use some vellum. Now, Stampin' Up! Doesn't offer vellum anymore, but I'm sure you probably have some in your stash or can find some if you don't already have some. So let's see, what do I want to start with? I think I'm going to start by cutting my piece of paper here. So our little pocket that I'm doing today, which, by the way, was inspired by Cathy's garden. She actually did a video yesterday, and I thought, oh my gosh, those look like so much fun. So I came right into my room and started making some. And I thought it might be something that you would have fun making as well, hopefully. I did do mine up a little bit different, but I will put the link to Cathy's channel. Actually, I already did it. It's in the description box. So you can go to her channel. She does projects pretty much every day. Okay, so this piece of paper, if your paper's directional, you want to make sure you're cutting it with the direction of the paper going the way you want it. So this is what I would consider to be a vertical pocket card. And it's going to be 3 by 4. So I want this cut at 3, and then you kind of decide what part of the design you want to show. I think I will cut my extra off of the bottom instead of the top piece, and it's going to be 4 inches. So let me move this up to 4. And we will snip it off across there. Don't throw your pieces away because you'll use them for something. Okay, so there is that. This is actually going to be the back of my pocket. Hello, Danita. All right, so then I've got my vellum here. I'm going to move my cutter out of the way. And so I'm doing this quite differently than the way Cathy did it, and that's because I want a thumb notch on the top of my pocket, and I thought it would be easier to make that happen before I attach the vellum to the back piece of the paper. So what I'm gonna do is let's see here. I am going to, maybe I shouldn't start with this piece first. No, I can. So what I'm going to do is I've just got a 1.5-inch circle punch here, and I'm going to put my vellum in just not even halfway. And I'm going to move it over because I don't want it clear up to the edge of my vellum there. So I'm just going to cut out a little notch like that. And you can make multiples of these. So you can make 3 of these pockets on, excuse me, one length of your vellum. So this is just 11 inches, like the standard length of your cardstock or whatever. And it's just a strip of the vellum. So you can fit 3 of these on here, but I'm just going to make one today. So I'm also going to, I've got a piece here of Petunia Pop cardstock. This is cut to 2 5/8 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches long. And so this is going to be sliding into the pocket. So it needs to be a little bit smaller than what we're making the pocket. And for my background paper, I'm actually using some book page. So you can use whatever you want, but book page is what Cathy used, and I thought it would be fun to use this Italian dictionary that I found at a Goodwill store. I also did use some regular book page on some of my others. So you can see how old this is. I love how the pages are all yellowed around the edges. So I'm just going to tear a piece out here. I totally bought this just for crafting with. All right. Excuse me. So I need to cut this to fit on here. Now what you could do is you could just put your adhesive on here and stick it onto your page and cut around it. That might be the easiest way to go actually. So maybe I will just do it that way. I did not do my others that way, but in thinking about it now, I think that would just be the easiest. So I'm just going to get my adhesive on here and stick it right to that book page. And let's see what kind of words are on this side. I don't really think it matters too much because they're in Italian. So I think what I will do is just set it down and kind of line it up here to be somewhat straight. There we go. And then we'll just cut away the part we're not using. It's a little bit easier to do it with bigger scissors than your smaller fussy cutting ones. And you could maybe even set it on your paper trimmer and cut it away that way, but I would probably end up cutting some of my card away if I did that as well. So I think for me it's just easier to use my scissors. All right. So there we go. There is the front and back of the card that's going to go into our little pocket. So I'm going to round the corners on this. What did I do with my corner rounder? Here we go. That's not the side I want. This is kind of one of those projects that you can start making and end up making a whole bunch of them because they're just fun. And you definitely don't have to go with a floral theme like I'm going to be doing today. You can do whatever your heart desires. Okay, I'm just going to grab a piece of sponge and some pecan pie ink here. And I'm just going to distress around, or whatever you want to call it, age, ink around the edges because I like that. You can do it on the back too. I guess I may as well while I'm at it. It's really not necessary to do it on the back. It's just what you know, all in what you want. If you wanted to sort of make this into a greeting card or something, you could put a to from on the back. You could put a sentiment on the back. You could just write on the back of it. Okay, but there is that piece done. So now we'll go back here to the front of the, what's going to be the front of the pocket. And I'm just going to, I'm using my grid paper to sort of help me here too. And I'm just going to line this up and see where I'm going to need to cut my vellum. So let me grab a pencil. And I'm just going to put a mark here and a mark there. All right. And I will bring my paper cutter back in here. And then I just need to put this in and line my pencil mark up in the little slot there where my trimmer's going to go. And since I had this on the outside of my card, it could be a little bit wider, but we're going to be doing something else here too. So in the end, it may not end up being wider. We'll see. Okay, and then I know I need this to be 4 inches long, so let me just cut it to length right now because I know it was longer than that. Okay, so there we have it. And let me just put this on my card here. How did I get it longer than 4 inches? Or is my card, oh, that's right. It needs to be 3 3/4, not 4 inches. The pocket is 4 inches, so this needs to be 3 3/4. Okay, that'll make a difference. All right, now does it look right? Okay. Oh, I just messed that up, didn't I? Because this is the front of my pocket. See what happens? I did this yesterday, and so today I'm getting all discombobulated. So what I'm going to do, don't mind me, I'm going to put this back in and cut it where I need it to be. 3 inches by 4 inches. Okay. So I've got my 3 inch by 4 inch piece. Just completely forget what I did a few minutes ago. Since I'm just making one, it's probably easier to do it this way. Yesterday I was doing multiples, so it was easier for me to line this up and make my thumb notch ahead of time. So I'm just going to do it this way now. All right, here we go. See how fast I got that fixed. Okay, so now let me bring in this eyelet 3D embossing folder. And this is what's going to make this vellum so much fun. So we're just going to pop it into the folder here. And I'm going to run this through my machine, and I'll be right back. Okay, so look at how this turns out. Isn't that so pretty? I just love it. Okay, so that, I was getting confused, and I know I confused you. So you're going to need a piece of patterned paper cut at 3 inches wide by 4 inches long, and a piece of vellum cut the same, and create yourself a little thumb notch in the top. Okay, so that's much easier than the way I was trying to show you earlier, but that's if you want to do multiples. Okay, then your inside card needs to measure 2 5/8 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches in length. And if you want to round the corners, you know, round the corners. I just kind of liked it better that way. Okay, so now let's go ahead, and I'm going to put some glue on here. Now you want to be a little bit careful to stay really close to the edge, and also keep in mind that you can see through vellum. So we're going to put such a small amount on here that it's really not going to be that noticeable. And you just want to do the 3 outside edges. And like I said, keep it really close to the edge. This particular glue dries super fast, so I'm going to try to work a little bit faster. Sorry, I don't mean to be getting quiet on you. Okay, let's get this put onto the front. And so what I was talking about, sometimes when you run vellum through, or any paper really, through an embossing folder, it tends to maybe shrink a little bit because you're popping paper out with that design. But this ended up fitting just perfectly. And then I like to turn it over because that vellum's embossed, and kind of rub it on the back also, just to make sure that the glue is catching into all of those crevices and that we are getting a good seal around the edges. Okay, so we can set that aside and let it dry. So now we've got these 2 pieces ready to go. I've got some vanilla cardstock here that I'm going to stamp on. Let me get my stamp. I love the red rubber stamps. I guess I'm a little bit old school in that way. I like the clear ones too, but I don't know, there's something about the red rubber stamps. Okay, I'm going to use my Tuxedo Black Memento to stamp with. Pretty. Okay. So remember I used the Petunia Pop for the back of my card. I'm going to color with Petunia Pop also. And then That's also kind of the color on this paper that's in the inside, the background that I picked. The only time you're going to be seeing that through your vellum is when your inside card is pulled out. But, you know, you pull out your card and still there's something pretty, you know, in there. So that's kind of fun. All right, so I have got Light Mossy Meadow. And I'm just... this is not going to be any sort of fancy coloring because the areas are so tiny that it doesn't require blending. I mean, I suppose you could, but they're so small that it's just really not necessary, I don't think. So I'm just going to add this to all the stems. I hope if you like my video, you can give me a thumbs up. I think I'm 2 subscribers away from reaching 2,000 now. So if you're not a subscriber yet and you'd like to be, I would love that. Okay, so I've got the light and dark here. I'm just gonna kind of swatch it out and see which color I want to use. They're very close to being the same, aren't they? There's not a whole lot of difference. I'm going to use the dark. So then really all I need to do is just go in here and add this color to all the little blooms. So the markers I'm using today are the Stampin' Up! Blends. You can use whatever markers that you have and like to use. Or you could use colored pencil, you could watercolor, whatever you like. I have a spider story. Do you want to hear it? Okay, well, I'm going to tell it to you. So, I was in my bathroom washing my hands, and I have, you know, my little jars, my Noxzema, and different little containers sitting there. And my hand towel at my sink is on a stand that's on the counter there. And all of a sudden, I kind of caught something out of the corner of my eye, and I look over, and there is this spider that is like this big, okay? So ugly. And it's just sitting there on my counter, hanging out, trying to probably like, okay, thinking to itself, you don't see me here. I'm hidden. I'm right here by your jars, but you don't see me here. But I did see it. And I thought, oh my word. Okay, I don't like to kill bugs and things anymore. The older I get, it's like, oh, I don't want to do it. But I could not let that spider just hang out because he was too big and ugly and too close to my bedroom, okay? So I'm trying to decide how I'm going to go about this situation. and because I didn't want, he was right by a basket of things we have sitting on the counter. And I didn't want him like retreating into the basket or, and so the first thing I did was slide my towel holder back, and I'm watching the spider the whole time. And I'm looking around my bathroom trying to decide what I'm going to use to do the horrible deed with. Okay, well, I had a box there that was an empty box, and I thought, all right, I will use that. So I contemplated, we've got Dixie cups in there. I actually contemplated getting the Dixie cup and trapping it in the cup and somehow getting it and taking it outside, but the fear took over that it would escape the cup or jump or something, and I couldn't do it, you guys. So I slid the towel rack back. I grabbed the basket and started to slide it, and it turned and ran behind the basket. And so I slowly pulled the basket out, and it was all hunched up against the molding, and then the mirror is there. And I had my box, and I'm like, and then I'm like, I'm sorry. So we came home last weekend, and on the kitchen floor, I saw these little things laying there. We'd been gone all day, and they looked like staples, and I thought, what is that? And I got closer and looked, and I thought, oh my word, that's spider legs. I picked them all up. They were spider legs. So the only thing I can assume is that the cat ate the rest of the spider. That's the only thing I can think. And I'm sure it was one of these big spiders. We have our house sprayed outside for spiders, but because we have pets inside, I don't have them come in and spray inside the house. And we get very few spiders, but this time of year, we seem to get a few of these big ones like that. Ugh. Okay, I'm going to cut this out real quick. All right, there is my pretty little flower. And so now I am going to clean this off. And there's this fun little background texture stamp in here. So I'm just going to get that and grab my Petunia Pop ink. And I'm going to bring my little piece of paper out here because I'm going to stamp off and then stamp. I just want a few little splotches of it, but not full strength. Here and there, that's good. So whatever you put on here needs to remain fairly flat, like you wouldn't want to pop something up because it's going to be going inside that pocket. So you want to keep things fairly flat. So I'm just going to put it right here in the middle. Pretty. Okay, and then I already stamped and heat embossed with white embossing powder on a black scrap strip there. And let me show you the stamps I used. So I got my words from the Choose Happy stamp set, which is a photopolymer stamp, which makes it nice when you're stamping on the little skinny strips like that because you can see where you're stamping. So I just chose those 3 different words, dreams, joy, and hope, to add to my little card here. And I think I'll do dreams just because, why not? So let me cut this. So I just stamped them out a bunch of times because I was making, well, I made 3 yesterday, and I figured I will probably be making more of these because they're so fun. So it's just trimmed off like that. You could also use a label maker or something like that if you didn't have word stamps. Or you could just write it out yourself. If you had some black card and a white gel pen, you could write it out that way. All right. And let me just punch a hole in this. And I've got this fun polka dot trim from Stampin' Up to create a little pull for my card. And then I've also got the linen thread. So if you didn't want to do a ribbon on the top, you could just create a tab and put a tab on the top to use as a pull. Okay, I have a hard time getting into this. Here we go. Now, this isn't quite the same color as my ribbon, but that's okay. It's close enough. So I'm just going to tie this around my ribbon here. Now this ribbon is pretty textured. It's like, oh, I can't think of the word I want to use. It's stiff. It's not a ribbon that is bunches up when you knot, your twine around it. So because of that, and I don't want my twine to slip off, I'm gonna stick just a little bit of, a little dot of glue under the knot, where the knot is situated. Just a dot to kind of hold it in place so that it doesn't slide off of there. There we go. Okay, it needs a little bling. So I thought the brushed brass butterflies would be perfect. And they're very low profile, so you know, it's not going to create a bunch of bulk on here. So I'm just going to try to stick to what I do lose. Oh, I lost the glue. The butterfly came off, but the adhesive didn't. Let me put it back on there and see if I can get it along with the adhesive this time. There we go. And then I want one of the little ones. So cute. I just love this sort of vintage look there. And then we can just slide it into the card. Now what I like to do is, maybe I'll do something else before I put it in there, but I kind of like to get the top, you know, out and then push the sides in a little bit just to create it, make it open a little bit better to slide it in. I think what I'm going to do before I slide it in there is just come on with Wink of Stella here and add some frosty goodness to the flowers, just for a bit of fun. I did not do that to my other ones, but that's okay. I thought it would be pretty. Sometimes the Wink picks up the color, so you just want to be a little bit careful with it. I'll show you the ones that I made yesterday. Very pretty. Okay, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's frosty now. Okay, so when you slide this in, especially the first time or two, you just want to be careful not to catch any edges on your vellum when you're sliding it down in there. There we go. So cute. So now it is ready to put in a journal. You can slip it into another pocket. You could glue it down if you wanted to. Maybe behind like a belly band. You can just pop this into a card that you're sending somebody as a fun little surprise of Happy Mail in there. You could probably, it's very much big enough to put a gift card in with it. So that would be a fun way to send a gift card. And if you want to decorate the outside of your vellum there, you certainly could do that too. I just kind of like the way it looks all by itself. I think it's pretty, and you can see that there's a pretty design inside there. So let me show you the others I made. I did this one. And this is using a different one of the other flowers in the set there. So I did that one also with the petunia pop. And this is another one of the flowers in there. I did this one with Cajun Craze. And it's got Blackberry Bliss on the back there. And then this is like the one that I just did. However, it is a different color. I think I did this one in the Blackberry Bliss, and it's got Blackberry Bliss on the back. And I used regular book page on this. You'll also notice perhaps that I stamped this one directly onto the book page, which was not my intention. But you can see what that looks like then compared to the one I made today that I stamped and die cut. So it's your choice. The only thing is that, and I did not stamp this one with black. I stamped it with green. So maybe if I would have stamped it with black, I could see my lines better, but stamping right onto the page, I had a little bit of a hard time seeing my design. And that could have been because I used green ink and not black. I still think I like the look of it better stamped and die cut. The other thing you could do if you don't have stamps and you want to create something like this is you can use stickers. You could use also rub-ons. You could just fussy cut something and put onto your book page. But you know, it's your choice if you want to stamp right onto your paper or stamp separately and cut it out and then attach it. They both look pretty, I think. And I might have liked doing it this way a little bit better had I used the black ink. Okay. So that is my little project for today. It wasn't a card. Sometimes I just like to do things that aren't always a card. So hopefully it might be something you would like to try. Story time. We sort of already had a story time with the spider situation, but I'm still reading from the I Love Lucy Guide to Life. And we ended last time with Speak No Evil. Lucy's fashion tips number 5. A nice tan will add that healthy glow. She got a little bit more than tan in this situation here. Get in touch with your inner child. I don't really remember what that episode was about. They have a lot of toys there. Maybe it was after she found out that she was expecting, or maybe it was something she did for little Ricky's birthday party. I can't remember. You're only as old as you look. I remember that episode. Oh, there was some young girl that had her eyes on Ricky, and so Lucy was trying to give the illusion that he was much, much older, and that just the makeup made him look young. A penny saved is a penny earned. Fred Mertz, self-proclaimed cheapskate. Fred Mertz reminded me a lot of my dad. I mean, just his look, not being a cheapskate. His look reminds me a lot of what my dad looked like. Always leave instructions when putting someone else in charge. And Ricky left a big old iron burn mark on the shirt there. Very fun. All right, we'll stop with that one. I love these little books. All right, you guys, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you liked this little project that wasn't a card, and that maybe you can try it and put your spin on it. And yeah, go check out Cathy's garden channel. Like I said, I put the link in the description box so you can go over and see all the fun things she does there. It's mostly all for journals or junk journaling. But I don't know how the woman creates something every day like she does, but she does. She amazes me. All right, take care, happy crafting, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.